Wow. My dancer friend, who's a huge K-pop fan, has got an all-paid offer to visit Korea and dance with the music group Blackpink. His dream has finally come true.
Wow, it's deeply satisfying when you get an unexpected opportunity to fulfill a long cherished dream.
Sounds like it has happened to you.
It has indeed. My favorite science fiction story is just 8 pages long. Written in 1953 by Arthur C. Clarke, it imagines Tibetan lamas ordering a computer to speed up the counting of what they believe are the 9 billion names of God. Now, I won't tell you what happens in the story, but reading it instilled in my heart a fervent wish to sell a computer to a lama. And it so happened in 1986 that Tata Unisys asked me to set up a computer marketing group to sell their new network microcomputers called the B25s. We worked very hard for a few months, and then my wife and I decided to go on a holiday. Ladakh had opened for international tourism just a few years earlier in 1979. So we decided to get there and reached Leh in September 1986. How unspoiled it was then. There were hardly any tourists, and 80% of them were from overseas. In fact, we shared a jeep with a young Brit couple who worked for the BBC, and with them we made excursions in different directions to the famed monasteries. At Alchi, we stopped next to an apricot tree, and it was full of apricots, and they were also strewn on the ground. An elderly woman with a jhola collected lots of them and gave the jhola to us. And when we asked how much, we just got a lovely toothless smile. She had no payment in mind. Then near Lama Yuru, we felt hungry and searched for a place where we could eat something. And one smiling young lady cooked a lunch for us, which we actually had sitting atop her low-slung home. And again, when we asked for payment, she just smiled. It was an innocent world.
Wow.
We also heard that there was going to be a major festival at the Qisse Gompa, where a very senior, high-ranking Lama had arrived from China and would be the chief guest. I think it might have been the Pancham Lama, but after so many years, I can't be sure of that. But here was my opportunity, my chance to sell a computer to the Lama. Arthur C. Clarke, Zindabad. The next day, while visiting Hemis, we requested to meet a monk and were taken to the minimalistic cell of an elderly monk. He was charming, and he made us some salty tea with yak's milk, which I loved, though my wife less so. And I asked him many questions about what is bought and stored and consumed in the monastery, what records are kept. I also asked about the comings and goings of itinerant monks and how their cells are allocated. He'd been around for a while and was very experienced, so he patiently answered everything. And now I had the first few applications that I could propose for computerizing a monastery. The festival the next day was absolutely spectacular. Everyone was in these ornate dancing costumes. And the chief invitee, the Lama, sat on cushions at one end of a veranda, a high veranda. And I was then asked to make my pitch to him. Now, he didn't know English, so there was a translator. And I talked about the various applications that we could computerize in a monastery. And I remember that I threw in an input-output table and perhaps an algorithm for the allocation of cells to monks that were coming and going. And all through this earnest speech that I made, my wife, who was wearing a ghagra, sat a bit far away at one end and giggled throughout my presentation. Despite her giggling, I think the Lama was convinced and he agreed to buy a computer. I had fulfilled my wish, my dream of selling a computer to a Lama. But when I returned to Mumbai elated, my 38-year-old Brit MD poured water on my enthusiasm. He protested, saying, how are we going to maintain and service a single B-25 that far away in the high Himalayas? And my argument that it would be great for our branding didn't cut much ice.
Oh.
So my organization decided not to sell the computer, but I did sell a computer to the Lama.
You have to dream before your dreams come true. APJ Abdul Kalam.
Great man. We'll be back next week with the next episode. Please like and comment below. And if you like a lot, do share.
Also, subscribe to our channel Qisse so that you don't miss out on any Qissa by the OG.
YOE.
What's YOE?
Years of experience.